You are now tuned in to the Dads Who Lift podcast. Please give us a like, share, subscribe to the YouTube account. We are on www.dadswholiftofficial.com. All the podcast links are in there. We also have an apparel line. We're on IG as Dads Who Lift Official handle. We're on Facebook, Dads Who Lift Podcast. We also have a Dads Who Lift fitness group on Facebook that's Dads Who Lift Official. A group of 30,000 like-minded dads that are just trying to be their best selves and staying fit. If that's something you're into, please check it out. But we do this stuff for free, guys, so please give us a like, share, 5-star review. We really appreciate your support.
Hey!
My theme song.
What makes a man? Is it the power in his hands? Is it his quest for glory? Give it all you got to fight to the top, so we can know your story.
Orgasmo, you ever seen that movie?
Now you're a man,
It's like basketball, kind of. Same guy, South Park guy, Team America.
You are now a man, you're a man. Now you're a man.
This will pump you up, man. That's my favorite part.
Never done an intro like this, but
Live it, live it. What makes a man? Is it the woman in his arms? Just 'cause she has big titties? Or is it the way he fights every day? No, it's probably the titties.
definitely the titties.
Now you're a man. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Now you're a man, man. Man, 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 man. Now you're a man. M-A-N, man, 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 man. Now you're a man.
These guys are genius.
And this is a South Park song.
It's the guys that make South Park. It's an old-ass movie from like the late 80s or 90s. It's called Orgasmo.
Nice.
So they had Orgasmo, then Basketballs. Then, obviously, they've done like Team America and stuff since. But
All right, you are now tuned into the Dads Who Live podcast with the Man song intro this time. You
Yep.
have your host, Tyler Gata.
co-host Joel Staley.
We want to start out with the housekeeping, man. We do this stuff for free. Please give us a like, share, 5-star review. If you got anything out of this towards the end of the podcast, just share it with one friend. That's all we ask. We're organic. We don't run any ads. This stuff costs us a lot of money. It's not even like just free. It's free to you, but it costs us money. But we're here trying to add value. So if you got a laugh, any value added at the end of this podcast, please like, share, 5-star review, tell one friend. We really appreciate it. We want to grow. So we started off with the Man song. So as you can tell, this podcast is going to be about what makes you a man, being an alpha male, and raising our children to be men, which is something that I think is a part of the problem in our society is part of what's missing is raising our children to be men instead of just boys.
Yeah, 100%. So I called you yesterday. I was listening to a Candace Owens video on YouTube, and she had, Colby Covington, the MMA fighter that always wears the MAGA hat.
Yeah.
He was telling a funny story. Is he had like no character or anything like that. He would just show up. He was 6th place in the world. And UFC basically told him, hey, this is a show business type deal. You don't have any like a character. People don't really care whether you win or lose. You're a good fighter. But after your fight tonight in Brazil, it really doesn't matter whether you win or lose. We're not re-signing you up just because people aren't going to they don't care
Right.
enough. So he goes into the octagon in Brazil. And everyone's chanting like "You will die" in Brazilian because he's fighting a Brazilian. And they hate him. So then he just beats the shit out of this guy, and then they give him the mic for the post fight interview, and he's like, don't quote me, but he's like, Brazil, I'm tired of this shithole. You guys are a bunch of filthy animals. Good night. It went so viral, and they hated him so much that UFC was like, okay, we can't cut this guy anymore.
Right.
Now he's gone on to become the welterweight champion of the world. He's beat like the baddest dudes in there. But now you see him on all these like conservative talk shows and just talk shows. Basically being himself. He finally feels free, like he can talk how he wants and people actually like it. So,
Right.
but on that show, she was saying that she feels like lack of masculinity or lack of men being men. Like she said, a lot of vegans, which nothing wrong with that if that's what you're doing, but like she goes,
vegan's supposed to what's the deal with that? Is she saying like, what is that supposed to lower your testosterone or something?
No, she just said like it's just kind of a That's what she said. She's like nothing against you if you're vegan, but at the same time, when you think of man, you don't like vegan's not the first word that pops into your head. Like, oh no, I'm only gonna eat my carrots and peas and stuff like that. So her words, not mine, but she says she goes to these college campuses. It's all these dorky guys that are calling themselves feminists and just very lack of masculine traits as opposed to like 10, 20, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
So I thought that'd be a great topic to maybe just go back and forth on.
Yeah. I mean, testosterone's a big thing. That's why I'm on TRT. Just got to shoot it in your ass and you got plenty of it.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. But no, so I looked this up too. And I think it is definitely a problem in our society. And I think a lot of where the problem stems from is kids growing up without fathers. And
Big
so I
time.
kind of want to get into some statistics. You know, we're a Dads Who Live group. So we're a group of all obviously fathers. Hopefully every father's in their kid's life. But some statistics that I came up with was, so there's an estimated 24.7 million children, 33% live absent of their biological fathers. Students grade 1 through 12, 39%, 17.7 million live in homes absent of their biological fathers. So this goes down into race too. So 57.6% of black children, 31.2% of Hispanic children, and 20% of white children are living absent of their biological fathers.
And a big part of so what I've been hearing recently, which I've never been into this stuff before recently, but a lot of the problem with the black family is that the government has been incentivizing welfare where you don't get the welfare checks if the dad's at the house. So it's basically, even though we know that the nuclear family, a mom, dad, and kids is the best way for kids to grow up, they're being incentivized not to have their dad in the house.
Yeah, and this is crazy too. So I don't know those stats. I mean, that would definitely make sense to me. I've got some other opinions too, but among children who are part of the post-war generation, 87.7% grew up with two biological parents who were married to each other. Today, only 68% will spend their entire childhood in an intact family. Like, that's a big difference. So post-war generation, 87.7% to 68.1%. This also goes on to say, let me see. So the divorce rate is increasing as well. So the divorce rate in 1960 was only 9.1%. Now, this is even back in 2012. In 2012, it was already up to 20.7%. So there's a lot of divorce rate as well. So in 1950, 8% of children. Okay, so 8% of children in 1950 lived without their fathers in their home. Now it's up to 31%. So 31% of children live with only one parent in their home.
So almost quadrupled.
Yep. And I think this is actually an old article too, now that I'm looking at it. It's from the census, but I think this article is actually a few years old, so it's probably even higher than that, honestly. But yeah, just in this article from
Especially
1950.
with COVID going on, man. People being trapped with their spouse. Normally,
Right.
you're with them for 2 or 3 hours a day, but now it's like people have been in the same house with their kids running around for 7, 8, 9 months. Like the divorce rates are skyrocketing.
Right. So this is like, I mean, you're talking 70 years and went from 8% to 22%. Like I said, it's probably even higher than that. There's another article that I pulled up too. So children that grow up without their biological fathers are 4 times greater risk of poverty, more likely to have behavioral problems, 2 times greater risk of infant mortality between the mom and the child. I'm not really sure why on that one. More likely to go to prison, more likely to commit crimes, 7 times more likely to become pregnant as teens. So that would be daughters. More likely to face abuse and neglect, more likely to abuse drugs and alcohol, 2 times more likely to suffer obesity, and 2 times more likely to drop out of high school.
Yeah. Dads are important.
Right.
Moms are important too, but this is the Dads Who Lift podcast.
Exactly. So, yeah, I mean, that divorce rate is a big thing. And I think that not even getting into like what it is to be a man and raise your kids as a man, but just this problem of fathers not being in the homes or fathers not being with their children. I think even like just our whole social media and the way that we live our lives today is completely different than the way that it was lived in 1950. And I'm not saying that things shouldn't progress and things shouldn't get better as a society as we get older or as time goes on. But is it really better when, you know, people have so many different options? You know, back in 1950, you were married to somebody, you were basically around them and your circle, you know, your family, friends, and that was pretty much it. You know, a female nowadays that's married, or even a male nowadays that's married, can have 100 different people in their DMs fucking hitting on them, regardless of if it says married or not on their Facebook page or on their Instagram. Still have 100 different people in their DMs hollering at them. So then now, you know, back in 1950, you get in a fight, you know, you might take your time apart or go your separate ways, and then you come back to each other and you make up and everything's okay. Nowadays, you know, you get in a fight and, oh shit, I got 100 other people right here. I got backups already. You know, I got 100 other people up here that I can message or DM or get attention from or get a different perspective from, or have somebody co-sign my bullshit and tell me I'm right, you know? And so people aren't really, I think the high divorce rate has a lot to do with that, and a lot to do with social media, and a lot to do with people having so many different options. And we're also in the society now to where back then it was a fix-it society. You know, you didn't throw things out. Things were made to last. You know, we fixed them. You know, the refrigerator broke down, you fixed it. How many fucking, you know, grandmas do you know that still had their refrigerator back from like 1960 and it still works?
Yeah.
Works perfectly. Like I had one in my garage that just went out a couple years ago that was old as fuck. And that thing worked forever. Now when you buy a refrigerator, that motherfucker lasts like 5 years and that's it. It's done.
Well,
and
back
you don't
to your
fix it. Like it's more expensive to fix it than it is to just buy a new one. So you just throw them away.
Back to your social media, though, I think it's an important point that just the society now that we're always comparing ourselves to everyone, and you only see the best of people on social media.
Exactly.
So if you're with your wife or husband, probably wife if you're dad, and you're on social media seeing like all your couple friends and all these other couples, they're just always smiling. They're always doing these cool activities. They're living their best life. And you're in your reality, which is everyone's reality, but you don't know that. And your wife's fucking yelling at you for some bullshit, or you forgot to take the trash out and you're getting scolded. You're like, man, all these guys have it so much better than me. Like, and you're watching porn too. That adds into it. You're like, man, all these porn stars, they want to fuck all the time. My wife only wants to do it like once or twice a week. Mm-hmm. So then when you have all that access to this and you think this is other people's reality, then you're just talking yourself out of being genuinely happy. You're looking for reasons like why your spouse isn't living up to your expectations when they're not even really realistic expectations to begin with.
Yeah, it's the grass is always greener on the other side type deal. And one thing that I've learned, man, especially in relationships and failed relationships because I'm single, one of the major things I've learned is what you look for is what you're going to get. Like if you start dating somebody and you start looking for the bad, like, oh, I wonder what they used to do. I wonder how they were in high school. I wonder what happened, you know, whatever. You start looking for the bad, you're going to find bad in anybody. But it's the same thing with good. If you start looking for the good, you're going to find good in anybody. So yeah, I completely agree, man. And it is this whole, that's what I was getting to though. It's this whole culture that we're in that I think it's created by social media though. That's been the major factor and the major change. I'm not trying to shit on social media. I think everything has a purpose. I think there's a place for everything, but I think you have to be careful of how you use it. If you want to dig more into the social media shit, a really good documentary to watch would be Social Dilemma. It's on Netflix. If you haven't watched it, I would definitely check that out. But I think it's just created this society where, yeah, everybody is living on a highlight reel. That's bullshit. So you're sitting in your house and you're going, my shit isn't very good compared to everybody else's on social media, or my wife doesn't do that, or my wife doesn't do this, or my wife's not as hot as that chick on social media, you know, because you see your wife when she's not in makeup 24/7. And all these women that are posting on social media are, you know, makeup done to the nines every single time they post. You know, it's just not reality. It's fake life, you know.
Let's just remind everyone to like, share, and tell a friend about the podcast now, because Zuckerberg's already heard us talking about the pitfalls of social media. And I mentioned the MAGA hat earlier and Candace Owens show. So
we're canceled.
Limit's going to be like 3 people at this hits.
Yeah, we're canceled.
So make sure you spread the word.
Yeah. But no, it's true, man. It's reality. And I really do think that it's fucking up a lot of what we have going on today. And not only that, like, so things progress, right? But like back in 1950s, sexualism wasn't what's the word I'm looking for? Wasn't predominant like it is now. It wasn't praised like it is now. It wasn't like now you can put a post up basically naked, or women can put posts up basically naked, and you basically get like praised for it. I mean, like, it's a good thing.
Especially if you're like not that good looking.
Right.
Then you really get praised. Oh, you're so brave. Like,
Right. I don't know. I'm just saying, I mean, shit, I've liked them, you know, everybody likes them. But it's this whole culture thing to where, like, if you put shit up like that back in the day, back in the 1960s, which obviously there wasn't social media, so you couldn't put it up anyways. But say you shared a scandalous picture to a neighbor or to a friend or whatever back in those days, you'd be looked at like a slut. Like, oh my God, you know, I can't believe they did that. You know, now it's like, no, literally, we have naked women on social media. I mean, I've seen nipple before on social media. You know what I mean? Like, straight.
Oh, Twitter, it's a no holds bar. You can.
I don't even have Twitter.
Twitter is porn. So, like,
No
if it's
shit.
a Biden story, you're not going to see it. But, like, if it's a girl getting fisted, it's fine. It's literally porn. You can porn. There's no.
Oh my God.
So you're like scrolling through your. I don't get on Twitter very much.
This is
either,
the only reason Joel gets on Twitter.
Yeah. But you could be scrolling. It's like news article. Oh, chick getting blasted. It's like there's literally porn. So you're talking about nipples on like Instagram and Facebook.
Yeah.
Porn.
Well, and I mean, it's like it's progressed, like, right? So then it's like now we got OnlyFans.
Mm-hmm.
So now it is. It went from like pictures to like, all right, at first you put a bikini picture up and that was like, oh, that was scandalous. And then it was like, all right, I'm going to show some titty and cover my nipples. Oh, that was scandalous. And you're like pasties. Then the bottoms are off. Then it's, you know, basically like a see-through shirt and you can actually see the whole titty. And now it's OnlyFans.
Before we both get a little too worked up here, especially you on the TRT you mentioned, we wanted to talk about, so how can we raise or do our best to raise our boys as men?
Yeah, we're going to get into that. I'm just saying, I'm just pointing out the
I only
fact.
talk about nipples too much before I'm like, where'd Joel go?
I'm just pointing out the fact that I think that the way that our society is driven right now goes against marriage. It goes against successful relationships. I'm not saying that there isn't successful married people and relationships out there. I'm just saying that I think it makes it tougher.
Yeah.
And I think that that's definitely correlating with the divorce rate that spikes.
Can I say a story real quick?
Yeah.
So this is funny. Amy wanted to pick up a dollhouse for like a big old
I'm going to look up divorce rates while you're talking.
playhouse for Kennedy. It was like a couple $100, but she got it off this lady on Marketplace. And it's Saturday morning and I'm sitting on the couch and I have like a ketchup stain on my shirt and like some pants you can see everything through. I'm just in my pajamas. So she's like, hey, will you go pick this up for me? And I was like, yeah, what's this person look like? Like, do I have to change?
Right.
Hey, if they're a dirt ball, I'll just show up as a dirt ball too. But she's like, oh, well, actually, it's a girl. She's pretty cute. I was like, you know what? Maybe I'll put some pants on at least. So I go and I pick up this playhouse and I ring the doorbell or I knock on the door and the lady comes out. Of course, she's like 10 feet away from me. She like opens the door and then scoots way back. She's like, hey, yeah, let me get my mask. I'll be right out. Like, we're in the driveway of her house. I'm like, okay, yeah, do you. It's fine. And then so we're out there. she opens her garage. It's this complete like fucking Hoardersville shit show. Disgusting. And then like her daughter has separation issues. So even though we're 6 feet away from her daughter, she's inside by the door. She's just screaming at the top of her lungs this whole time. And all I could think the whole time was like, man, what if this was a first date and I was stuck with this lady for another hour or two? And I just thought like, man, I would not want to date right now. Especially
That's why
like,
I'm not.
Yeah, it was
Like,
just
I'm
so.
not.
I was like, I got back in my truck. I loaded it up in the back of the truck. I was just so happy to leave and go back to my family. I was like, man, dating right now, especially with everything going on, would just be a fucking nightmare. You don't know what you're getting, and by the time you find out, it's like too late. You're already on the date a lot of the time.
Right.
So, I mean, how do you haven't been on any dates for this COVID deal?
No, I have for COVID, but I got to a point to where I just realized, or I just decided that I definitely want, we talked about this on the last podcast, but one of my deepest desires is to find my soulmate, find my wife. But I decided that there's some things that I need to work on within myself and my family right now. So that's what I'm focusing on. So I just decided I'm going to take like a month off, not date, not hook up, none of that stuff. No dates at all with any women. I'm not even talking to any women, 0 right now. And just focusing on me, doing me. I'm still manifesting the fuck out of what I want, and I know it's going to come, but there was also that point of like, with this social media deal, like we're talking about, it also gets, dude, there's so many fucking million people that are addicted to social media. We didn't even talk about that. But there's so many people that are addicted to social media, and you get addicted to this attention. You get addicted to this like. Everything's a like. What do I do for a like? How many likes can I get? How many loves can I get? And that's like, that feeds into your self-confidence, like who you are. Oh shit, if I don't, post this naked post or post this post and get it 100 some fucking likes or 300 likes or whatever it is, that I'm not shit. And that's what we have going on. We have these people that are addicted to this fake fucking self-worth. It's just fake. It has nothing to do with you or who you are. Right. And that goes all the way even to like this whole dating thing. Like people are just, there's so much attention at our fingertips. Right. I feel like people are scared to be alone. Nobody can just be alone anymore and actually be okay with being alone because there's so much attention at their disposal 24/7. Even if you talk about dating apps, Tinder, like I would be on dating apps or Bumble, Hinge, whatever, and I'd find myself just swiping just for fun. Like, I wasn't even like
kind of playing God, like, nope. All right, she could get it.
Or like for the attention, like, oh man, I've got, you look in the Tinder thing. If you pay for the deal, you can see how many women like you or whatever. And so then it's like, oh, I got 300 women in my queue that like me that, that have swiped on me or whatever. And there's a lot of people that do that, and it's like people are using this as their confidence, like to build them up. And so I found myself kind of doing that. Like whenever I was kind of in the cycle to where I would look for something and then like use it for attention, basically, feel good about it. And then not find what I really wanted out of it, which was like my wife, because let's be honest, like slim fucking chance you're actually going to find your wife.
Amy
on Tinder.
knowed me on Tinder.
No shit.
Before we officially met.
That's funny.
Yeah. Cause we started dating and then I scrolled back to her profile picture, like 3 profile pictures ago, and I was like, I recognize this chick. I was excited about her liking me back, and she didn't. So I called her out on it.
What'd she say?
She gave me this bullshit. She's like, oh, there's a couple guys in your picture. I didn't know which one. No, it was me. It was just me.
Yeah, right.
So that's all right. I got her.
Yeah.
The salesman. Don't take no.
Right. But no, so it's funny. So I found myself kind of doing that. And I've been single for a while, so I'm pretty confident being alone and being single, but there's still something to getting that attention and getting addicted to that attention. And then it's hard not having that attention, and I feel like that goes with social media, like dating, the apps, all that shit. So I just decided that I was going to take time off, not date, get 100% comfortable with me again, not need any outside source or anybody at my fingertips or at my disposal or any attention. Like I said, right now I'm talking to 0, like not one fucking female, none. And I've actually had to like curb a few that I was talking to before to do this, but I feel like it's better for me. I want to be 100%. I want to have 100% confidence within myself without having anybody else around me. And I want to, when I do find that one, because I know she's out there, I know it's going to come. I don't want to need anything from her. I want to just add value. And I feel like that's where a true relationship stems. And that's where that's what a marriage should be, is two people just adding value to each other. You don't necessarily need to take anything from one another because you're full already within yourself.
So two things I
So
feel
that's what
like
I'm working on.
we need to cover before the end of the podcast. And I think they're two very different things.
Is this
but
Joel
they
trying to
feed
keep
into
this
each other.
podcast on track?
They feed into each other. Number one, because I feel like these are going to be lengthy discussions and there might even be some back and forth on these. Number one would have to be what makes a man? Because
I was
that's
just
a
going to
very-
say, so Joel, what makes a man to you?
And B, after that, we have to get into how can we take those principles and apply it to raising our kids to make sure that we set them up in the best
Right.
possible position.
You don't want to talk about aliens?
Don't get me started. I got a new documentary. The
All
Hunt.
right. Hang on. All right. So Joel, what makes a man to you?
Well, take this coffee, for example. It's a mocha choca semi-vanilla latte, right?
Yeah.
It's manly because I'm comfortable with... No, I'm just fucking with you. It's black.
Oh, black coffee.
Black
All right.
coffee.
Okay. All right. So that makes a man.
That's
probably just because he's fasting.
no, I'm not. I had spent $16 on my Scooter's meal.
Oh,
including
nice.
this coffee this morning, and $1 tip was in the 16. But no, I think it's a big question. The overarching thing is kind of what we were talking about on the phone yesterday, is especially feeding into the social media and everything going on right now. If you're the type of male who finds yourself constantly going with the flow and doing what you think other people want to see from you, or doing stuff that you know that in your true self, like, this isn't what I believe, but this is what everyone else is doing. So as opposed to like start any sort of conflict or have any type of resistance, I'm just going to go with them. I feel like a real man is a leader, a protector of himself and his family first, of course, and also a protector of the things that he really believes to be true, what he holds true in his heart. So I won't get into details right now, but there's a lot of stuff going on where if you say anything these days, then you're put in some sort of camp, and it's very easy to just shut up and go with the flow, put your mask on your little 3-year-old kid, send them off to daycare. And the easy thing to do is just say, all right, yeah, well, I don't want to get punched in the face, get my teeth knocked out when I go outside. But if you know, like, okay, well, this is bullshit, and if I don't stand up and say something for stuff I don't think is right, no one else might. I think that's what makes a man. Make those tough decisions that you know in your heart to be true to yourself.
I agree.
Nice.
You know what I was thinking of? I was thinking of this the other day. If you were brought up in a family or a community where they fucking ate people, right? But that's all you knew as a kid. Your parents ate people, your friends ate people, your families ate people, people ate people. You would grow up eating fucking people.
Yeah. Oh, no doubt. There's
Yeah.
civilizations that do it, I'm sure.
Right. And then so at what point do you have to say, nah, this isn't right to eat people. I'm not going to eat people.
Same thing for people that were molested as kids, or they're like second, third in line of being molested as kids. At some point in the lineage, someone has to say, all right, this is fucked up.
Yeah.
I can't do this to my kids or these kids.
Right.
But it takes, just because...
That's my point, though. To me, to be a man, you have to know what you believe in your heart, what you stand for, what your morals are, and you have to stick strong to them. So, man, and it really takes time to figure that out, I feel like. But you can also be raised with those strong morals from a child as well. But that has to do with your father, your parenting, which is exactly what we're talking about. And so, to me, a man is someone that knows who the fuck they are, knows what the fuck they stand for, and stays solid to those facts. A man is also somebody that follows his passion. A man is somebody that knows what he's put on this planet for, and he follows that no matter what anybody else tells him. A man is somebody that if he doesn't believe it's right to fucking wear masks or make his child wear masks because they don't do shit, he says, nah, I'm not going to go with the norm. I'm not going to follow society. I think that's bullshit. I'm not going to do it. You know, or a man could be the other way. If he truly believes in masks, he could support it and have his family wear masks. You know, it's whatever you believe, but follow your passion, know what you stand for, do it regardless. And don't let other people change your beliefs on against what you believe in and what you know within your heart. Like I can feel deep inside me. And this is another thing too. To me, a man is also someone that is emotionally secure and is in tune with their emotions. A man isn't just this hard ass fucking rock that's like, oh, I'm tough as nails, hit me with the hammer, ain't gonna fucking hurt me, you know, fuck you, go out there and do it, build it, you know, whatever, no matter what. There's part of that in it, but it's also being in tune with your emotions, knowing who you are deep down inside, knowing what you believe in, what you stand for, what you love, what you feel. You have to be in tune with your emotions to know that. I truly believe to actually know who you are, what you stand for, what you believe in, and follow it.
I also feel like a man is just naturally a provider.
Yep.
So again, it's sticky because there's guys out there right now that are stay-at-home dads. Wife's the breadwinner. They're raising, like, for example,
that would be called a beta male, though.
My brother-in-law, he's literally one of the fucking coolest dudes in the world. Wife has a successful business. He's like, they have three young kids. So I'm not saying that's not easy. So he's providing, but I mean, you talk to some of these guys that are like, they're just so beta, and a wife calls all the shots and makes all the money, and they got to get permission for every like little things. Like, dude, is that your mom or your fucking wife?
You know, I think there's a point to being a partner and respecting each other and talking about things and making decisions together. But I also truly believe that the husband, the man, is supposed to lead the family, lead his children, lead his sons, lead his wives, lead his daughters. And if you look even like biblically in the Bible, it says that the man is supposed to lead the family. It says that the man is supposed to lead the family in light of God, to follow God. And the man is supposed to lead the family in faith as well, you know? So that's true. That's what I believe. And that's what I feel. I mean, there's other people doing it the other way, other ways, and that's totally up to them. I mean, to each their own. If it works for them, then that's fine. But that's not what I believe in my heart, and that's not how I'm going to live my life. And that's not the definition of a man to me. I'm not trying to say it's a bad person. If you're a stay-at-home dad, it's different too. Like, I mean, if you're a stay-at-home dad and you made that decision, like you've decided that, hey, it's better for the family. My wife has an easy cake job, or, you know, this happened or that happened, or she makes bank or whatever. It's easier for me to run the family from home, take care of the kids, you know, do this stuff, but you're still in charge, still leading the family. That's a different thing as to like the wife says, well, you don't make as much as me, honey, so you just need to stay home.
Let me put it like this. I think this is a way that most people can get on board with. Most people, of course, you're never going to get everybody. But I feel like as long as, again, the nuclear family, there's two parents. One of them has the masculine energy. One of them has the feminine energy. Because we were talking again yesterday, you feel like you were brought up as too masculine too quick, where I was the other end. I was like baby stuff till a late age. And I was like, oh shit, I got to figure all this shit out for myself. So we talk about balance all the time. You want to have enough of the masculine energy, so you work hard, you get uncomfortable, you do the shit you don't want to do, so you can take yourself and your family where you want to go. But you definitely don't want to neglect the feminine part of the energy, the other side of that equation, so you can empathize with people. You're not a fucking dick to everyone, and all that. You need the full package. So I think where people get in trouble, if the roles are reversed, and you're this like new age family where the wife is the breadwinner and the more of the masculine, and then you're more of the feminine. Again, it's not what I would want to do. I think our hormones set us up to play a particular role, but if you find what works for you, that's fine. But I think it's dicey when you have one or the other. You have two feminine energies trying to raise a kid, because then you have, I mean, a household full of pussies, I'll just say it. Or if you have two
Canceled.
Or if you have two really masculine energies, well, then a lot of time you miss out on that emotional aspect and you get a house full of fucking assholes.
Yep.
So I think you do need that balance.
You definitely need both. I mean, there are studies that prove that have shown that basically it's better to have, if a child's only going to have one parent, it's better to have statistically just the father than just the mother. As far as discipline and stuff like that. But I 100% agree that you need both. And I am a single father. I'm raising my son by myself. And I will admit, and I try to give my son as much love and care as I possibly can. But I will admit that there are some things that I just can't give him, that it's not in me. You know, it's just not part of my DNA. It's not who I was made to be. And there are some things, unfortunately, that my son is missing out on by not having a mom, and it sucks. Never in a million years that I think I would have a 10-year-old and still be single. I mean, when I left his mother and I got full custody, I honestly thought like, shit, I'll be with somebody else within a year. I'll get married, he'll have a great mother, and shit just hasn't worked out like that. Not for lack of trying, just hasn't worked out like that. It just hasn't been in the cards, I guess. So I've done other things like build successful businesses and things of that nature, but I haven't been successful in that area. But so I try to just do my best and be the best father that I can be. And I try to be cognizant of that. And I try to give more emotional support and more love than a father normally would, just knowing that I do have to try to play both those roles. But there's certain things like I said, I just can't give my son because I'm not a mom. And there's certain things that a mom just can't give their son because they're not a dad, no matter how hard they try.
Yeah.
I
think part of that too might be why you said they do better with just the man, just the dad, is because, I mean, before this year, they'd go to school. They have a lot of teachers that are playing them more.
And we're also talking about sons because we're talking about what it is to be a man.
Yeah.
So when I say that, I'm talking about a son.
Okay.
Not a daughter.
Because they need the masculine.
Yeah, exactly.
You can argue
I'm not
they
saying
don't,
that daughters would be better off with just their dad, although I don't know. I'm not sure what the statistic is on that, but I'm saying we're talking about what it is to be a man, what it is to raise your son as being a man. That's what this podcast is about.
So what are some like red flags where we should maybe reel it in for our sons if like something's going on, or we can say, okay, that's a tripwire. Maybe I need to do this, or I need to take him hunting, or which I was venting the other day, which my dad never listened to this shit, but I was like, man, I'm doing jujitsu. I'm fucking like learning all this cool shit that I cannot wait. And I have a daughter, but I just can't wait to show her how to like defend herself, do all these cool things. I was like, man, my dad really fucked me, man. It's like, if he was like martial artist and he made me stick to it. See, that's what I was telling you, is like I would go to martial arts and I'd be on day 3 and I'd be like, I don't want to go anymore. And my parents would be like, okay. And it's like, oh, cool. Like,
don't have to go.
I don't have to go. But then now here I'm 32 getting into martial arts when I could be fucking stone cold
and now
savage.
You're like, Amy, I don't want to go anymore. And she's like, okay, cool.
Yeah,
no
pretty
big
much.
deal.
But then that worked. Then she's like, I knew you wouldn't want to go. I'm like, all right, I'm going.
All right. So
my dad didn't literally fuck me for one, for sure. But I had a great fucking dad.
Yeah.
I just wish I stuck to more stuff as a kid that gave me more discipline.
This is why we're great perspectives on this topic, though, is because we were raised completely differently. I actually have both worlds because my parents were divorced, and so I went back and forth. My mom was super lenient, and I could basically do whatever I want, but then my dad was super strict. So I kind of got the both. You just got the one. I feel like that's why I feel like I am well-rounded in that aspect. But, we were talking yesterday. Your point was basically like, people are raising their kids to be just little beta male bitches. We got safe zones now and all this shit. Kids back in the day went and fought in war and fucking died and, put their lives on the line, and it was normal, and people are just pussies anymore. And while I do agree with that, my response was like, I agree, but there can be too much to one side on both ways. Like too much of being a hard ass, raising our kids to be too much of a hard ass and making them grow up too quick and not letting them be children is also a fucking problem, because that's what happened to me, you know? And so now I'm 31 years old, still constantly trying to find that balance, which is probably why I'm still fucking single, is because I had, you know, my dad was a hard ass growing up. Nothing was ever good enough. It was always do your shit, do this, do that, do another. I mean, I started working full time at 14. We had fun. We had things. It's not like I had a shitty, you know, military childhood or anything like that, but it was definitely known like, hey, this is what you do. You know, we work hard. And it was very high expectations. So I have super high expectations of myself still to this day because of that. And so I learned how to grind, man. Like I don't take no for an answer. I'm not ever happy. I always want more. Go. You know, I'm just a very fucking, what is this? You know, it's business. I'm a savage business wise, you know, I just go, which is great, which is why I've been successful and why I have so much confidence with money and things coming to me in business. And it's a good thing in that aspect of my life, but it's also a bad thing in other aspects of my life. You know, you can't have these crazy high expectations that you have on yourself on other people, because other people can't live up to them. If I have the high expectation on my son, I'm tearing my son down, which is what happened to me when I was a child. If I have that same high expectation on my girlfriend or my wife, they're going to fucking leave my ass. You know, nobody can fucking do. It's hard to live your life to that high of an expectation, or that, can't think of the word I'm looking for. Like it's really hard to go that hard all the time.
Yeah. I still think there is like, okay, well, young Tyler has been playing video games for the last 6 hours on Saturday.
It just comes down to balance real quick. Yeah. Hang on. So I'm just I'm still instilling that same hard work ethic that I had into my son. My kid's going to be a fucking beast. He's going to be a savage. I know it, but I'm trying to have more balance in his life. I want him to know that it's okay to fuck up. I tell him all the time, you know, I started this new deal to where if he doesn't do something that I tell him, like pick his things up, he gets one time that I tell him, remind him. If he still doesn't do it, I'm not going to like yell. I'm not going to berate him. I'm not going to anything like that. I'm not going to raise my voice. He just starts losing shit. All right, man, I told you once already. So now you don't have your phone for tonight. And I tell him still, I'm like, listen, man, no matter how much you fuck up, no matter what you forget or what you do, you're still good enough either way. I still love you no matter what. And no matter how much you fuck up, you have a great heart and you are good enough. You have what it takes either way. You know, so I'm trying to get that balance in my son. And I think that's the perfect storm to raise a man.
Yeah. So I almost want to backtrack a little bit, because I don't want to make it sound like I was like I had a deadbeat dad or anything. As a matter of fact,
I didn't take it that way, man.
A lot of times my mom and sister will watch this and be like, hey, so the number one, and I've said this so many times, I can't even picture what my life would look like had my dad not taken me to the gym that first time, because I fell in love.
I've heard you tell me that story multiple times.
Never not wanted to go back. Yep. So best thing maybe anyone's ever done for me is that it just totally changed the landscape of my life. So that could be one thing. Okay, if your kid is just stuck at home, especially right now, and your gym's open, take him to the gym if he's 11, 12, 13 years old. If not, start doing some stuff, put on Rocky in the living room and say, hey, son, can you do 20 push-ups? And then, you know, you crank out 30 or 40, just get him doing stuff. Hunting, that is one thing I wish like my dad was more into, so I could have got into that. I want to get into it now. Martial arts, just going out, being active, putting all that masculine energy into something as opposed to just being on the video games, killing zombies, and then just thinking that like that's normal. So I think if there's little red flags of like, oh wow, this kid like called my son a pussy, and instead of calling him a pussy back or shoving him, which is not saying the right answer, but if you could tell he's ultra sensitive.
I was told go up to the biggest one and hit him as hard as you can. That's from a child. That's what I was always told.
Jailhouse rules.
That's what I was always told. If someone's making fun of you, go up to the biggest one in the group and hit him as hard as you can.
It's hard to give examples because there's always context that you need. If someone calls your kid a pussy, then that's not ideal circumstances, but you'll know you'll know if it'll jump out to you if you say, all right, well, that's kind of raising my awareness a little bit of maybe he could benefit from going to the gym, throwing some iron around, going and learning how to shoot a gun, go hunting with the boys, get some guy time, include him in some of the guys' trips. Those were some of the best times I had as a kid. Is like, okay, I got to go to my dad's racquetball club and hang out with his buddies. It's like I got away from my mom and sister for a couple hours and it was just me with the guys. I fucking loved it. So get some guy time in. I think that's the best way.
So how do we raise our children to be productive members of society, to be men? Okay. So first of all, I want to say that if you are a father listening to this or a father in this group that's not in your children's life, you need to fucking get in your kids' lives. There's way too many dads out there that are not, and they need you no matter what. It doesn't matter if you see, I mean, even if you can only see them for an hour once a week or once a month or whatever, you need to be in your children's lives as much as you possibly can. To me, I would never take no for an answer. You know, everybody's going to have this excuse or that excuse, or the wife won't let me, or whatever it is. You need to be in your kids' lives, and you're the only one that can make that happen. So get after it. Fucking make it happen. They need you. You need them. I mean, it's just plain and simple. There's too much of this shit going on, too many broken homes. You don't have to be with the wife. You don't have to be with the mother to be in your children's life, but you need to be in your children's life. That's all there is to it. Secondly, kids need to know this is something that all right, so I was always told what was right or what was wrong. So I feel like I have a really strong moral compass inside me, inside my heart. I can feel it in my chest, and I know what's right and what's wrong, and that's good. What I wasn't told is like what we stand for, things that we believe in. And I had to figure those out on my own as I was an adult, which I feel like I really just figured them out like the last year or two, you know? And that stuff is what we need to instill in our children growing up. So to raise a child to be a man, I'm not saying don't let your kids have fun. Children need to be children. They can have fun, but they need structure as well. You have to have some kind of structure that you put up into your family. If you're raising your child and they just get everything that they want whenever they ask, and there's zero structure, no rules, they get to do what they want when they want, they stay up as late as they want, they eat junk food before bed, they get everything that they want, they're not going to be raised as men. They're going to be raised as someone that expects things. They're going to be raised entitled. They're going to be raised as somebody that expects people,
the louder they whine, the more they're going to get.
The people to cater to them. And that's not the definition of a man to me. The definition of a man to me is someone that grew up with structure, someone that knows that there's rules, someone that knows that this is what's right and what's wrong. This is what's good and what's bad. This is what you believe in. This is how we live our lives. This is what we stand for. If you believe in God, raise your children to that as well. You know, they need to know what they believe in and why they're here, and what their purpose is. And kids can start from the beginning knowing their purpose. I mean, this is just, you know, it's just like with my son, when I had to talk to him again this last weekend about picking his stuff up from the floor that he leaves laying everywhere. When I started implementing this, like, hey, you're going to get one warning and then you're just going to start losing stuff. I will pick it up after that, but then you're grounded and you're going to start losing stuff. What I told him is I said, listen, man, we're Gatas. We work hard for the things that we have, and we take care of the things that we have. That's who we are. We're proud. We work hard for what we have, and we're proud of what we have, and we take care of it. And in a biblical stance, and I do believe in God, God blesses us with things. And it even says in the Bible that you have to take care of the things that God blesses you with. And if you don't take care of the things that God blesses you with, guess what? He's going to stop fucking blessing you. So I told that to my son too, without the fucking part. And so I'm instilling in him, this is what's right or wrong. This is who we are. This is what we stand for. This is what we believe in. And this is how we act as a person, as a man moving forward. We still play hard. We still have fun. He still goes out and, you know, rides his bike and fucks around, and he's still going to be a kid. He's still going to fuck up. And when he does fuck up, I tell him he gets disciplined. And then I tell him, you know what, no matter what, buddy, you're still good enough. I still love you. But this is what you did wrong. This is what's going to happen. And, you know, don't do it moving forward. To me, that's what makes a man. And I also want him to feel in tune with his emotions. Like, it's okay to cry. I'm not going to ever call him a pussy or berate him for crying. You know what I mean? Like, it's okay for him to feel upset or feel feelings. We're supposed to feel feelings. And a lot of times men just push these feelings out which actually ends up making them way worse. I mean, I did that for years. You know, you push these feelings out and you bury them. And what happens is all of a sudden they all come up at the same time. Usually once you start to begin to become an adult, or once you're out of your teen adolescence, they come up, and then you have a lot of fucking issues in life and a lot of things you have to deal with. So I want him to be able to feel things, and it's okay to feel things. It's okay to feel sad. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to cry. It's okay to do all these things. But you have to feel them, let it go, and move forward from that experience. Right. So yeah, that's really what it's about for me. To recap, be in your kid's life. You have to be in your son's life, no matter what capacity. You have to try to be in your son's life, no matter what. 2, instill in your children what's right or what's wrong. 3, tell them what you stand for. If you believe in God, bring that into your life as you raise them. Pray with your kids. Talk about God with your kids. Lead them in a direction. Give them a purpose in life. That's the biggest thing here. Is like, I still think about it to this day. I was at a walk yesterday. You know, my son had football practice. I went to the lake right across the street and took a walk. And I'm just looking up at the sky and looking up at the moon, and I'm like, man, this is just all so wild. You know, that we're here. That they're just, what is this? You know, what is this world? What is this life? What is all this? What is this perspective? What is this? You know, and for me, it comes back to, you know, I was put on, because I believe in God, I was put on earth for my God, from my God. And my purpose here is to praise him, worship him, live life as he says I should, and raise my son and be the best father that I can be, and be a productive member of society. You know, once I find my wife, it'll be to be the best husband I can be as well. Those are my purposes. Those are what I live for. As well as like my passion, is putting shit out on this podcast, trying to add value to people's lives, trying to help people in any way that I can, you know? So those are my driving forces, and those are what I'm leaning towards. And like I said, that stuff wasn't taught to me when I was a child. That's stuff that I had to find as an adult. And I'm sure that no matter what you instill in your children, they're still going to have to do their own searching and find their own shit when they become adults. But I think there's a way to prep them and kind of get them a little bit more ready and more on track for it as children growing up.
Yeah. So the best things, looking back for myself in this aspect of growing up, was a handful of times my grandpa took me hunting, and it was like, you're not getting up at 11 a.m. and going, like, he's waking up at 4 a.m. You're fucking exhausted. You're doing hard shit. You're going out, getting some guy time, killing some shit, or watching him kill some shit. Dad take me to the gym. That was awesome. Get the testosterone flowing a little bit. You get your first little pump. You're throwing some weights around. You're like, oh man, that's kind of like kicked my ass, but I loved it. Sports, huge. Being around all the other guys.
Yep,
again,
sports is
running
a big
sprints, doing hard shit, going to practices sometimes you don't want to go to, out in the rain if it's like baseball or whatever it is, football. Getting that guy time in, going on guys trips. I know I went on a trip with my dad, my uncle, my grandpa to Colorado, and it was like just a weekend of farting and like them drinking beer and skiing and snowboarding. It was like one of the best trips I've ever been on. Of course, I'm this young kid like looking up to all these guys. All right, what are they doing? How can I be like them? So just putting your sons in environments like that and being conscious of it. Like, all right, is my son getting any guy time? Sports have been canceled. School's online. He's got 3 sisters and a mom, and I'm off at work. Like, is your fucking son getting any guy time? And if not, how can you manufacture a schedule a little bit to start introducing some guy time into it?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
I'm going to say something too that I've been feeling lately, and I feel like it's probably going to be really controversial, but
yeah,
it's
buddy.
just something that I've been feeling lately.
Trigger warning.
Yeah, I just feel like the whole point of the government is to govern, right? And so how do they govern people? Is they break them down. And I kind of feel like our whole government system and even our school system, like, we don't even really raise our kids anymore. School systems raise our kids, right? I mean, they're in school from 8 a.m. to 3 o'clock. If you're like me, you're working till 5, and then maybe you have like 2 or 3 hours a night with them every night, and then the weekends, you know, maybe like a half hour to an hour before school and a couple hours a night, and then the weekends, right? So the school system sees our kids probably more than we do. And we have the school system that, in my opinion, is based off the government, like the government, to break people down, to keep people in compliance so they follow the rules. And so I feel like our kids are broke down and I was too. All of us are broke down from the beginning to fit in this box, to follow all these rules. And it's not, I don't feel like it's right. I don't feel like we should be broke down. It's like the military. What do they do first before they build you back up?
I'll break you down.
They break you down.
Break you like a dog.
Yeah. And I feel like, I don't know, man. I don't know what the answer to that is. It's just something that I've been feeling lately. Like I said, it's probably really controversial. But another thing too is if you think about it is, and you said it just there, boys need to be around men. That's the only boys. I mean, their school years, their young years are the most infrastructural years on them as individuals. Like that's going to create who they become, right? What they see, what they hear, who they're around is going to help develop them to who they are as an adult. And the majority of teachers, not all, but the majority of teachers are women. So our kids are in the school systems. I'm not saying women are bad teachers. I'm not like an anti-feminist. I'm going to kill it. You know, I'm not like an anti-woman deal. I'm just saying that boys need to be around men. And when they're in these school systems that are made to break them down, to fit in compliance and follow by the rules, and they're around women now because they have women teachers more than they're around men, that's going to add feminism and breed feminism into our men, into our boys, and make them less masculine as adults.
I was out shooting guns, smoking stoves, and drinking whiskey with my buddy on Saturday, which all man shit if I do say so myself.
Yeah.
But it's funny you say that because he was talking about his son, which is like his, I mean, he didn't say favorite just in case they watched the show, but that's like the one he connects with the most.
Yeah.
He got kicked out of a local school here because he's too energetic. He's like always cracking jokes and like just being a kid.
Right.
And he got kicked out of school. And now he's going to this new school and they're also trying to like, hey, we really need to, I mean, I'll call him Little Joel just to hide his name, but hey, Little Joel, he's really wound up. We really just want him to sit there and like take notes and listen. And he's like, the fuck? No, that's what I love about this kid. And he's already been kicked out of one school. And
that's the thing. Like, and I'm not saying don't follow the rules because it is part of, I think with structure is learning to abide by the rules. And
he said he's not busy enough. He needs more stuff to do.
Here's the thing, man. In these school systems, like our kids aren't raised, kids aren't made to sit at a fucking desk for 8 hours a day. They're just not made for that. Like lunch, like recesses are getting cut too. Like my son's only got, I think they have 2 recesses a day. And I mean, they're like 30 minutes, maybe even 25. They're not very long. And he'll tell me all the time, like, oh, COVID rates were high, so they cut recess down to 15 minutes today. Like, oh, they won't let us on the playground because of COVID. We got to all stand on the blacktop because I guess they don't want everybody touching the playground and whatever. It's like, dude, what the fuck, man? These kids are in school for 8 hours a day learning, listening to teachers, and they just have to sit at a desk all day and then they don't even get their fucking recesses.
Or stand on
like they can't even go out and play. Like you have to just stand on the fucking blacktop. He said that they won't even let them like go out and play football because of COVID. You can't go out on recess and play football because of COVID-19. First of all, school should have more recesses anyways. Like school should be like an hour learning, recess, an hour learning, recess. You can't expect kids to sit for fucking hours at a fucking desk. It's just unpractical, nor is it meant for what, like, that's not how kids are wired. That's not how it should be. There's so many fucking, oh man, that could be a whole nother podcast, a whole nother topic. What about how, I think we covered a lot of shit. I don't want to get in too many tangents, but what about how masculinity now is seen like, so now in society, you or I, if we go out and be a masculine man in public or on social media or to any group of people, then we're like
toxic.
Yeah, we're assholes. We're fucking, you know, you could be called like sexist or racist or homophobic or whatever, you know, all kinds of shit just for being your normal masculine man.
Someone said something to me last week that it was almost like someone took a
it's like masculine men nowadays are degraded.
I got like a boulder
off
my shoulders when he said this. He's like, I know, like we hear a lot of this stuff. As of right now, today, not saying it's not going in a different direction, but it sounds like it's a really loud minority saying all this shit. Where most people are like, okay, we do need a place for masculine men. Again, if all these crazy mandates come down that don't fucking make sense, and there's nobody that's gonna like stand up and say, hey, well, that's not right. and we're fucked.
Right.
So luckily, I do think the people that saying, "Oh, you're just being a toxic white male privilege mansplaining to me," I do think it's a very loud minority. I hope, but yeah, it's fucking scary, man, because we're like just trying to be ourselves.
Yeah, man. I mean, I don't feel like a masculine man is supposed to lead. We're supposed to, like, it feels good for me to lead.
We're not picking on, like, I can't remember the last time I picked on anyone or you've picked on.
No,
like, that's not
I'm not
what being a
dick.
man is. But even
Like,
like,
I still have compassion for other people's feelings.
right, just you wanting to do shit that you like to do is now considered like toxic and fucking. It's just weird, man. It's scary.
Yeah. Even like you mentioned going out and shooting guns. Like, I know there's certain people that be like, oh, he's just a gun toting white dude. He probably likes the KKK. I mean, anymore, that shit can be like associated with racism. It's like,
Well,
you
that's the
fucking
reason
kidding me?
is fucking
Why
I'm
should you need
learning
all those guns? You don't need all those
how
guns.
to shoot a gun
Guns
is
kill.
because what's going on outside. And again, if you're a man and you can't protect your family, what fucking good are you? If you call yourself the man of the house and someone attacks your family and you don't know how to fight for them or you don't know how to protect them, and people are just, what's that movie? A Clockwork Orange, where this guy just comes in, beats this dude up, starts raping his wife right in front of him, and then fucking kills her and leaves. Like, you can't protect your wife? You don't have any protection? You don't know some young guy just came in, busted in your house, and took all your shit? Shit happens every day.
Yeah.
So if you don't know how to protect your family, man, that's
When we were
First place
kids,
to
I mean,
start.
if there was a problem, you fucking fought. I mean, at Westside, we both went to Westside for a period of time. They took the fucking doors out the bathrooms. Because we would go, if there was a problem, you would go in the bathroom and one guy would hold the fucking door shut while the teachers were trying to get in, and you fought it out. Like, that was it. We didn't shoot each other or kill people or fucking bring guns to school. I mean, I'm sure that shit did
West
happen
Side's
back
different
then.
now.
Yeah? I don't know.
Yeah, Linda Seals is the wrangler up there. She says it's
Oh.
like crazy.
Bad?
Yeah.
I don't know, man, but that's how it was back in my day. If you had an issue, you fought it out. And I mean, even like when I got kicked out of Westside and I went to UTAN high school, it was like my first week. Some kid yelled across the commons because I was like about ready to date his ex-girlfriend or something. Like some kid, gay as a bitch, across the commons, like after lunch in the big area. And I was like, oh, I went right up to him. I was like, oh, yeah? Let's go to the bathroom. They all looked at me like I was crazy. Like, that's what we did at Westside. This is like a smaller school. They're like, the bathroom? I'm like, yeah, let's go to the fucking
Yeah, I'm
bathroom.
gonna suck your dick. See who the
Yeah,
real
no.
bitch is.
So like we walked to the bathroom and fucking I beat his ass in the bathroom. They held the door shut. That one I got suspended for because that was a smaller school. But Westside, you could do that shit and just kind of like run away and walk out.
And if
Back
you've
in the
never
day.
been in a fist fight, you're thinking like, oh, that's no good. But no, after a guy, when you're in a fist fight, problems are solved.
I do not condone jumping motherfuckers. When I
Right.
see videos of kids getting fucking jumped, dude, if I ever see somebody
We're
jumping
adults
somebody,
anymore.
I will go out there and fucking pistol whip a motherfucker.
Cowardice, man. It's fucking
Dude, that is not cool. I'm never okay with that shit. But if two adults have a problem and they decide like that they want to fight it out, now if one adult doesn't want to fight it out, then that would be considered, I guess, probably in my mind, like
Battery.
jumping them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But if two kids or two adults, like, hey, fuck you, we want to go at it, let's solve this issue. And guess what? When we were done, we always walked away like, cool.
That's what I'm saying.
It was never like, oh, fuck, I'm going to beat your ass again tomorrow. I'm going to beat your ass again next week. It was like, all right, we fought it out. We're good. It's done. It's squashed.
Kids have it worse these days because we were talking to a mutual friend last week around this time, and kids will make fake accounts and
Oh,
just
yeah.
blow up your fucking social media.
Well, that was
So that's better than
This is
fucking
how
just-
old we are. That was fucking pre-social media when we were in high school.
Yeah.
You didn't have all
Like
that
AIM,
shit.
but good luck
Instant
trolling me on
Messenger.
AIM.
Yeah. I think there might have been MySpace. I think there was MySpace.
Yeah, MySpace.
But yeah, I mean, that was the coolest thing ever was throwing your song up on MySpace and play whenever you
I
got
did
your
my own
profile.
raps, me and Josh.
Nice. But no, that is a deal. Like nowadays, now they do. Now it's like fucking these kids are so cowardice. Now it's like social media fucking terrorism, basically. Like creating fake accounts and making things up about people and saying things about people. And guess what, man? That shit's not cool either. And that's not being a man. And what ends up happening is, you get all this shit and all these people. It could be one person making multiple fake accounts and like berating this person online. Guess what? That girl goes or that dude goes and kills himself. Over one person. I mean, they think it's everybody. They think it's all these people that hate them. No, nobody fucking hates you. It's just
Dude, if
one
you have a
dumb
daughter
motherfucker.
like me, I was watching a movie like 6 months ago, and the girl got talked into like sending her boyfriend fucking nudes, and then next day it's all around school. It's like fucking scary times. That shit didn't really happen at our age, but I can only imagine now that, especially if like the boyfriend's a little shitbag and then they get in a fight, you know that shit's going all around school, whether it's tagged on her Facebook or not. Everyone sees that shit.
Yeah, I don't know,
Scary as
man.
a dad,
Nowadays,
man.
people shoot motherfuckers. Like they don't even fight anymore. You know, that's why I carry. I've got a CCW. I carry a gun everywhere I go. Yeah, I'm not playing that game.
Yeah, I just got my concealed carry too.
Yeah,
I gotta go give my fingerprinter some shit before, but
nice. So yeah, that went off on a bunch of different tangents, but I think it was still a good podcast. I think we covered a lot of good shit. Men are supposed to be men. It's okay to be men. That doesn't give you an excuse to fucking be an asshole or be a prick, or be inconsiderate to other people's feelings at some point. But you also, a man is just doing his thing, following his purpose and leading. That's really all a man is doing.
if the coffee you drink has more than 3 syllables too, I want to check yourself.
I don't even drink coffee, so I'm good there.
Red Bull, you're good.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Sugar-free Red Bull.
Fuck off. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning into the Dads Who Lift podcast. Again, if you got any value out of this, got a laugh, please give us a like, share, 5-star review. This shit costs us money. We do it for free. It's free to you. We don't run ads. So please just give us a like, share, 5-star review. Tell a friend, tell one friend so we can grow organically. That's really all we want to do is add value to people and continue to do so. So please help us grow. We are on all the platforms for the podcast: YouTube, SoundCloud, iTunes, Apple, shit. All the platforms are on our website, which is www.dadswholiftofficial.com. We also have apparel on the website, which again is www.dadswholiftofficial.com. We are on IG as Dads Who Lift Official. We're on Facebook as Dads Who Lift Podcast. We also have a Facebook group of 32,000 dads and growing that are just dads trying to be their best selves, all like-minded dads trying to be the best selves, best fathers, and stay fit at the same time. So if you're a dad, that's something that interests you, check out the group. Again, it's called Dads Who Lift Official on Facebook. It's a Facebook group. So yeah. All right, guys.
Oh, man.
Yeah, play the man
Play
song
us
again
out.
on the way out. No, I'm just kidding. But thanks for tuning in, guys. Have a good day.
It's forever, you know, this like forever, no surrender. It's forever, you know, this like forever.
I bigger dead than alive, bigger dead than alive. I bigger dead than alive, dead than alive. Yeah, I bigger dead than alive, bigger dead than alive.